And last but not least, we have Andreas Karelas. He is the founder and executive director of RE-volv. Prior to founding RE-volv, Andreas worked with a number of leading organizations, including the American Council on Renewable Energy, the National Audubon Society, blueEnergy, and the Center for Resource Solutions. Andreas holds 2 master's degrees, one in international affairs and the other in natural resources and sustainable development. He is a 2013 Audubon TogetherGreen Conservation Leadership Fellow and a 2016 OpenIDEO Climate Innovator Fellow. His talk today is entitled Solar Energy for Communities of Faith. Welcome, Andreas.
Hi, everyone. There on the screen. Let's see it here.
Oh, wow. Weird.
No, it's there.
Just
Just
like
like
oh, is it down there at the bottom?
It's on the screen right there. Okay, great. Well, while we're figuring this out, I guess I'll just start by saying how grateful I am to be here with you all, that this is such a special summit that we're having here, and thank you to CIIS and to all the people who work to make this possible, because what better conversation, what more important conversation could we be having at this day and age than about bringing together our faith and our respect for our planet. Okay, great, thank you. Thanks, everybody. So I want to talk to you today about solar energy, which may seem a little bit removed from some of the more sort of value and kind of theoretical constructs that we're talking about. And, but first, before I get into the talk, I just kind of want to give you a high-level view about what I'm going to say. I'm going to try to make it real short, and then I will say it, and then we can talk about it later. So the first piece is that I am the founder and executive director of a nonprofit called RE-volv, and I came to this work out of a sense of frustration and a sense of disempowerment that so many of us have when we think about climate change. And this is a really scary place for us to be in. Those of us that know about the threat of climate change and know about the destruction that's happening to the planet, we're left with this feeling of, what can I do? What can I, as an individual, one of 7 billion, what can I do that's really going to have an impact? And that can be a really scary place to be. And that was a great segue from the last speaker, who said that that is a scary place, and what you have to do is muster your faith and go into and walk into the sea. I thought that was really beautiful, right? And so that's really what this is about, is can we, being in a place of how scary this is, can we go forward? Can we take action? And can we, by doing so, feel empowered and actually make a difference? And the key question also is, what can communities of faith do to help that process? What can communities of faith do to give people that sense of empowerment and that sense of we can work together collaboratively to make a difference? And so that's really what the talk here today is about. It's about changing the story. We have a story of climate change and that it's being caused by actors that are bigger than us, that it's systems in place that are bigger than us, and that we are too small to make a difference. And and that's generally and so many, I love this, not love, but it's such an interesting concept that 97 to 99% of scientists are in agreement that climate change is real and it's caused by humans. And somewhere about 50% of Americans believe that climate change is real and caused by humans. So why is there that huge disconnect? And to me, one of the elements of that reason is because it's too scary to think about the fact that I could be causing the destruction of the planet, and there's so little that I can do about it that I'd rather just bury my head in the sand and pretend that it's not happening. And so we need to change that story to make it something that we can solve climate change, and we can do it by acting locally, we can do it by acting in collaboration with each other, and we can do it with simple solutions and technologies that we already have that are economical. And that really fly in the face of so much of what we're told that it'll cost so much and it'll be uneconomical to solve climate change. It's not true. We can do this. We can do this. And so that's really, at the end of the day, so I'm done now. No. Okay.
Let's go.
I want to start with this quote. Many of the speakers today have mentioned Joanna Macy. What an amazing teacher. I'll allow you just to take a second and read this. So this, to me, is really at the heart of our challenge. This is such, this is written so poetically, and it's so wise, because what it's saying is that there is this tension that we have between how big the problem is and the inadequacy of our response to it. How can we take action on something so big? And yet it takes courage to endure these tensions, and endure them we must. This is what we have to do. This is the challenge that's put before us. And so eloquently is this last line of that: to be conscious enough to act responsibly requires being awake to the possibility of failure. That we could fail, and that is something that we have to own, and that we have to accept the fact that that's scary, and we have to move forward into the sea, as it were, anyway. And this is where faith communities can really take action and really lead their community members in coming together in a collaborative way. Again, also mentioned today, this was a photo taken at the People's Climate March in New York in last fall, where 400,000 people descended on New York in unison to declare to the world that we need to do something about climate change and that we mean business. And it was a beautiful rally, and it was a beautiful moment for those of us, for the movement as a whole. And yet, there's still something, there's still a feeling of lack around the solutions that the movement has offered us as a people, as a populace. We're often told that, well, you should change your light bulbs, and you should ride your bike, and you should do things on your personal level that reduce your carbon footprint. And also you should engage in the global level by signing petitions and going to marches and engaging in the political process and the like. But there's very little that's being done on the community level. And so those two ends can be very, they're extreme in a way, and they can be very disempowering, because, well, I can lower my footprint all I want, but that's still not going to necessarily have a huge impact on the world. And I can engage in the political process, but so often it can seem maybe futile. Not to say that we shouldn't, but to say that I can go to a march and I can go home, but does that mean that I've done everything that I can to solve climate change? And so there's a disconnect with how much of an impact that's really having. And in order for us to change the conversation and to change the story about climate change that we as a society hold, we have to create results and create opportunities for taking action that we can see the results, that we can feel in our communities, and that we can know that by working with our community members that we can have a real impact, right? We need to own the fact that we can change this. So I want to tell you a story about a community here in the Bay Area that has taken action through a collaborative effort. This is Ralph Silber and Beth Weinberger from the Kehilla Community Synagogue in Oakland. And Ralph and Beth are the co-chairs of the Greening Committee of the synagogue. And Ralph and Beth had been looking for many years to go solar at the synagogue. They wanted to put solar panels on the roof. And many nonprofit organizations face the same problem that Kehilla did, which is that not many solar companies, solar financing organizations, will work with these organizations. There's a number of reasons for them, largely the way that their taxes, their tax structure doesn't allow them to take advantage of tax credits. Projects are pretty small. It's difficult to demonstrate their creditworthiness. So many communities of faith fall into this category. They would love to go solar, they would love to save money on their electric bills, they would love to do right by the environment, they would love to be a leader in their community, and yet there's not many organizations that are willing to lend them the money to go solar. And of course, not many communities have the money up front to be able to pay for solar panels, which can be expensive up front. So Ralph and Beth came to me. They gave me a call. So I founded a nonprofit organization called RE-volv. And what RE-volv does is it finances solar energy projects for nonprofits and cooperatives that serve their community. And we do so through a community effort, and I'll explain to you how that works in a moment. So Ralph had read about us in the paper and gave me a call and told me that he wanted to meet and talk about it. And so I came and explained to him how our model works. And the way that our model works is that it has three components to it. The first is that we fundraise through crowdfunding. And crowdfunding is just a fancy way of saying lots of people coming together and giving small amounts of money. If everybody gave $5 or $10, then we could put solar on this community, on this community serving organization. And so we do that typically online. And so what we did is we raise money to put solar on these community serving organizations. And that's the second step, is we invest that money by paying for the upfront costs of a solar installation for community centers, nonprofits, and cooperatives around the country. These organizations save money on their electric bill, and at the same time they pay RE-volv back over a 20-year lease agreement. During that time, those lease payments are then used to pay for other solar energy projects for other nonprofits and cooperatives that serve the community. So it's a pay-it-forward model for solar energy, which actually creates more revenue to pay for more solar projects. So typically each project that we fund over time will actually pay for 3 more solar projects for other communities, and each of those 3 will pay for 3 more. And so as you see, there's a revolving fund that grows into a sort of snowball effect for solar energy. So Ralph and Beth were convinced that this was the way to go. They signed the lease agreement, and we got cracking, getting the community excited about solar. So this is a solar education event night that we had at Kehilla. This is where we invited people from the community. We invited a solar installer. We invited leaders from local clean energy groups to come and talk to the community members about the benefits of solar and why we can make an impact right here in our community. And this is also the launching of our crowdfunding campaign. So we posted a little video online. People read the video, watched the video, they shared it, and they made donations so that Kehilla could go solar. We raised enough money, over $50,000, to create to pay for the upfront costs for Kehilla to go solar. The nonprofit organization that we partner with to install the system is called Sunwork, and they bring volunteers to the job site. So these are some volunteers who are helping with the installation at Kehilla. And we finished a beautiful 22 kilowatt solar array that's now going to save Kehilla over $200,000 over the life of the system. and at the same time pay for 3 more solar energy projects over time as Kehilla pays RE-volv back. We had a beautiful ribbon cutting with the rabbi celebrating. We had local politicians come. And now we are expanding our work around the country. So we've done 3 projects here in the Bay Area, the Kehilla Community Synagogue, the Shaw Anderson Dance Center in Berkeley, and also the Other Avenues Food Cooperative in San Francisco, all using this model. Those 3 organizations are now paying for 9 solar energy projects for other communities. And in order to expand into parts of the country that we don't have the wherewithal to reach, we're partnering with university students. So these 5 students here are part of our Solar Ambassador Program, which is a year-long fellowship where these students are from different universities in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Santa Barbara. And they have gone into their communities and they've found local nonprofits and cooperatives that want to go solar, and they are actually now crowdfunding for these projects on our website. So you'll see here on the right-hand side, Nick with the maroon shirt is from Villanova University, and he is crowdfunding a solar project for St. Asaph's Presbyterian Church in Pennsylvania. And right next to him, all the way on the right, is Laura, who is from Swarthmore, and she is crowdfunding a solar project for what's called Serenity House, which is an outreach ministry in North Philadelphia of the Arch Street Methodist Church. This is my friend Andreas Karelas, who is a pastor in Berkeley at Church by the Side of the Road. And Andreas Karelas is leading a movement around the country called Green the Church. And this is through partnership with Green for All. And Green the Church is about inspiring and motivating the African American churches around the country to go solar, to do energy efficiency, and to make climate change a key component of their action. We are working with Ambrose to hopefully put solar on Church by the Side of the Road and hopefully many of the other churches that he's working with. So again, in short, I want to first invite you to check out our website, revolve.org. We just recently launched a new website that allows us to do our own crowdfunding on our website. It also, here on the website, if you have a church or if you have a community of faith that you want to see go solar, you can contact us through that website and you can propose a project. But in short, I just want to say that for communities of faith, you have such a key role to play in giving your community that sense of we can work together to solve climate change, that we have the ability to make a difference, and that these are, by going solar, by doing energy efficiency, by taking simple actions in your community and doing it in a way that people can get involved, you're really helping to change our global story around this whole thing. So thank you so much.